Women Up Radio, designed to facilitate women's empowerment, improve your career, develop your talents, incorporate your passions, achieve fulfillment and success.
Hello, this is Anna Letitia Cook of Women Up Radio, supporting Empower Women and the Girls on the Road in their quest to support women entrepreneurs around the world. Fernanda and Taciana are visiting 24 countries, interviewing women and researching conditions, business ecosystems, as well as the challenges and advantages that exist in each country. Now, we've been moving around a lot recently, and this week we're back in Europe and visiting Germany. So, hi Fernanda and Taci, how are you two today?
Hi Anna, how are you?
Fine, thank you. So, Germany. I've been to Germany, I've been to Berlin, but I've never had lots of business contacts there. So tell me, what's the general vision of business, women in business and women entrepreneurs in Germany?
Well, Anna, Germany was a huge surprise for us. Germany is, as we all know, it's a huge economy, very powerful, very, very known by the, entrepreneurship for men. Mm-hmm. But we had kind of like a hard time finding women entrepreneurs in Germany. Really? Usually when we arrive, we already have some contacts, and we kind of like women, we introduce another women. But in Germany, we interviewed in Berlin, and it was not that case. We interviewed some entrepreneurs there, and also interview one of the organizations whose work is towards like entrepreneurship. Yeah. And they are very aware that they really have to work with women, with governments, with politicians to push more into women entrepreneurs. Because still, like, Germany is a very traditional society, and they see that women, as we saw like in Asian cultures, that women, once they get married, they are supposed to quit their jobs, stay with the kids, and eventually come back to work part-time. Yes. And of course, Germany is also thinking about that. They have to push the economy. They have to bring women into economy and have them work like full-time. And the digital gap between men and women are broadened more and more. And they have to do something about it.
Yeah, I heard as well that there was a real problem with women's careers once they had children, that basically they had to choose, do they want to be a mother or do they want to have a career, because they lose it as soon as they come back, which I found really strange, because when you think that the leader is a woman, and you think that Eastern Germany had a communist regime which was very much everybody's equal, therefore women should be equal as well. So that quite surprised me when I heard that. And I've heard that from a lot of people and a lot of businesses. So, so what do you think? What does it mean to be a woman entrepreneur in Germany? Is it much more difficult than in other countries?
I don't think it's necessarily more difficult in terms of resources, because, of course, Berlin is one of the hot spots in Europe in terms of entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. The government, it really invests. They really support, especially at the beginning of the business, having lines of financing lines and really doing grants. And so people can really take advantage of that. I think the major challenge for women entrepreneurs first is buying the idea of becoming an entrepreneur. Because again, the cultural issues, the social pressure, it's pretty much there. Yeah. So they and all the society in terms of resources, once they become mothers, they have a very strong social welfare, of course, so they can benefit from that. So that there's not much motivation in terms of, okay, I saw an opportunity and I'm going after it. It can be a business that can thrive, that can grow. They don't have it. It seems that they don't have that in them, because they don't see as a path. So I think that's the major challenge. Probably it's really to sell, to market the concept of entrepreneurship for women in general.
Yeah.
And I can cite an example. We interviewed an entrepreneur in Norway. She said that she's German. She said that when she was a teenager, she got pregnant with her boyfriend, and they decided they wanted to have the children and to have the child and still keep their studies. So the guy, they were about to go to college. The guy decided he would attend college, but when she went to go to college refused her because there was a law, apparently like no longer exists, but there was a law, and she's not older, she's younger than we are. Like she's probably like what, 30 something, mid-30s today. There was a law that was saying like if you're a woman, you have to stay with your kid 3 months. So 3 years, sorry. Yeah. So she was forbidden to attend college, but the husband could. So they're both parents. Just because she was carrying the baby, she wouldn't be able to attend college. So they decided that they didn't want her to stop studying at 18 years old. Yeah. They looked for other countries to move. Yeah. They both got accepted in an university in Norway. Yeah. And she was like embarrassed, like kind of like saying, oh, but I have this child coming, and the college just said, oh, that's amazing. We have childcare here in Norway, so there's not a problem for you to study. So she has been in Norway for the last, I don't know, almost 15 years. Yes. She's on her 4th kid. Yeah. She built a business. She's a business woman. Yeah. And she says that she will never go back to Germany.
Oh, really?
That's why Germany was so surprising for us, because, you had this idea about Germany being the country that it is in terms of development and this powerhouse in terms of economy. And then you go there and start talking to people, mostly women, of course, and then you go, oh my God, I had no idea it was like that. So that was really shocking to us.
Yeah. And so how does that relate to the business ecosystem? Because I imagine the business ecosystem is very strong and very well organized there. But then if the attitude towards women going out and having businesses rather than staying at home with the kids, does that affect it?
Yeah, you can see a lot more men. We went to like a couple of co-working spaces. Of course, you see much more like men around, like men opening companies, networking. And I think that's not like women have the opportunity to access the same resources. Yeah. But the thing is, culturally, they are expected to, at some point in their lives, not to. So I think this is the gap, because there are like some countries that we went that sometimes the resources are not there, or sometimes men have much more access to them. But I think in the case of Germany, the resources are there. Women can access them. Of course, we will have like sexism and bias in every single country you went to, but they can do it as well. But in somehow, like cultural pressure, make them to stay at home once they, have kids. As you said, they have kind of like to choose between being a mother and being an entrepreneur. Even like a professional, like to work in a corporation, they might go down to part-time jobs instead of full-time. And for us, I mean, like we think it's okay is if the woman wants to stay at home, and if she wants to work only be with their kids, that's fine. But I think they have to have the opportunity to choose and not be pressured to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah. So we seem to have covered a lot of the challenges for women in Germany. Do they have any advantages?
Being Germany?
Yes, being born German.
Yes.
But it's true. They have an amazing ecosystem. Amazing. Lots of resources, very mature. Yeah. So they have to take advantage of that. Yeah. So they, of course, besides the cultural, social aspects that we mentioned, they just have to realize that, oh my God, I have to take advantage of that, because the resources, they are there. They are there, definitely.
And when you think about like, oh, this thing came from Germany or is made in Germany, it already has like a stamp of like good things, quality. Yeah. Like, as you said, like we went to Jordan, and one of the entrepreneurs said that even though she produced the same exactly product in Jordan, she had to open a plant in Europe, so people would look at her product differently.
Yes.
In Germany, you would never face that. It's like, oh, come on, it's German, and it has already like a seal, right?
Yeah. And okay, so what about soft and hard skills?
Well, hard skills, they really have to jump into the tech world in terms of learning technology. And they recognize, and Fernanda mentioned that, the huge gap, the digital gap that they see that gets wider and wider. And we had the chance to interview the director of the Women Entrepreneurs of Germany. And they say this is the key challenge that they have, because they really have to educate women in terms of the digital age, digital tools, because that's going to be key, definitely. So that's certainly the hard skill that they have to develop. And well, soft skills, they are approachable, and but they have to learn how to network, to see, I would say, entrepreneurship with the different eyes, with a different attitude, and network much more, and try to overcome this social pressure of you either is a mother or a businesswoman, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I was speaking to a client yesterday who works a lot with Germany, India, and various other countries, and they said with Germany, one of the challenges they face, everything is done absolutely perfectly, really high standard, really high quality, and it's done to the deadlines, etc. There's never a problem with that. But the problem is with innovation. And if somebody suggests changing a system or changing the traditional way of doing it, that's where they get so almost like the mental block, compared to India, where they don't have the same deadlines, they don't have the same quality, etc., but they're open to changing the way of doing it or adapting to something. So that sounds like it's linked to a certain extent with the culture of, if you're this, you do that, and if you're this, you do that, and not moving forward as much.
Yeah, I agree. I can definitely see German, falling into this description that you just mentioned. It definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that even though they have like a woman in power, you think about like all the major German companies, like the traditional business, they're all like founded by men and led by men. So I think like they have all the resources, the power, tools to make it happen.
Yes.
But we have to have like more women, like the normal Germans, to rise to the top.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so any motivational differences in Germany which would help other women around the world?
Oh my God, if other countries in the world had this structure that the German have, that would be amazing. But that's one thing that certainly the Germans have been maybe kind of teaching the world, is something that you mentioned. They really focus on quality and doing things the proper way with process. And that's something that you might need along the way while you're building a business. At some point, you need structure, you need process, you need to focus on, every activity at some point. And I think that's certainly that the German can teach a lot about it.
Okay, that's great. Great advice. Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much for all the information about Germany. It's interesting, and it's particularly interesting what you're bringing up, the fact that the mentality is still very much choosing between mother and career, because I've heard that from so many people, and it's a shame, because there's